What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. In this one we have Jaishankar on Brics versus G7. You won't let anyone enter G7. We formed our own club. I love that statement in the title already, right? You don't want anybody joining your club. You got everybody that you want to be a part of your club, and you're not letting anybody else in. Okay, we'll just form our own club over here. We'll do our own thing. Before we dive into this video, if you guys would like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is smash that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Now let's hear about Brics versus G7. Jaishankar, talk to me. Let me make sure the volume's up. Okay.
To be honest, why the club? Because there was another club. It was called the G7 and you wouldn't let anybody else into that club. So we said we go and form our own club.
Why this club? And do you consider that the Brics will expand?
Well, to be honest, why the club? Because there was another club. It was called the G7 and you wouldn't let anybody else into that club. So we said we go and form our own club. You know.
Cool. We don't want to be a part of. You don't want us to be a part of your club? Cool. We don't want to be a part of your club. We'll go form our own club, and we'll do great things in our own club, and you can keep your club.
So we decided, okay, we are also, good citizens of good standing who have a place in the global society, and
yes,
therefore this is how typically clubs multiply. So it started, and as it started, like many clubs, it gained a life of its own over a period of time. Others saw value in it as well. And so in a sense, I would say, it's actually a very interesting group, because if you look at it, typically any club or any group has either a geographical contiguity or some common historical experience, or very strong economic connect. There are some orthodox binding factors. But when you have a Brazil in South America, and Russia in Europe, and India and China and Asia, and later on South Africa was added, the common feature was really, I would say, big countries rising in the international system. Russia perhaps had already risen, so would not necessarily qualify in that. Who felt that their coming together would give them greater weight and greater influence.
I love that. Just in terms of the fact that he's talking about, like, yes, we felt, why did we form our own club? First, you wouldn't let us in your club, and we felt like we have some importance on the global, like, globally, right? We have importance, and there's so many other big countries that are rising that may not been at the level that you guys are in the G7 for a while, but now these big countries are on the rise, and it only makes sense for these countries of geographical importance that are on the rise to be able to come together. And so you didn't want to let them come together in the G7, let them come together with you guys who have been in power for so long. Well, that's fine. They're going to form their own club, with these clubs, I'm not sure exactly what it is going on inside of them, what they're figuring out. I assume kind of trade talks, alliances, partnerships, all of these things. I assume, like, I don't know for sure, I assume are going on within these clubs. So it only makes sense for an India, for Brazil, for an Indonesia, for these countries to come together and form their own. You want to keep your club to yourself? Cool. We got this.
Felt that their coming together would give them greater weight and greater influence. Now, what has happened between when the Brics started, approximately 2 decades ago, to where we are now, is we see, particularly in the last few years, a lot of interest in countries joining the grouping. We expanded the Brics. We took the decision to expand the Brics last year in Johannesburg, and we extended invitations to more countries, which virtually doubled the number. We will be meeting soon in Kazan next month, and we know. I mean, as I travel around the world, I frankly see more and more enthusiasm, more interest really in countries wanting to be associated in some form or the other. BRICS, of course, has itself evolved. I mean, in all of this, we've also created a bank, the New Development Bank. I think in on different issues, we have collective positions, but there are many issues on which our interests also diverge. I mean,
Yeah.
India and Russia and China and Brazil, South Africa would not, necessarily agree on all issues, and in certain cases,
I can feel that.
positions can be quite divergent.
Yeah. I love the fact that he talks about mentioning that the BRICS, their BRICS was formed over 2 decades ago, so 20 years ago. And as the time has continued and they continue to grow, there's been growing interest in wanting to join BRICS. And they made the decision last year to allow more countries to join BRICS, which basically doubled the countries in there. And yeah, them coming together, I would say it does give them more weight, greater influence in the world, where it's not just kind of the G7, all these big countries coming together kind of with all the influence and all their weight and being able to make all these decisions globally. But now we got BRICS, another club where they're able to come together and have their weight and have their influence in the world. So I would say like that's an incredibly great thing. And then with interest growing and them allowing more countries to join, it's only going to become bigger and bigger. And now those countries who hadn't had a voice for so long now can join a club where they do get a voice. And he said a lot of the times they do tend to agree with each other on a lot of issues, but there are times when their interests diverge, right? And you got to figure out what happens then. And the more countries you throw in, the more times that's going to happen. But it's just really great because it lets you know, like in this G7, these aren't the only countries that matter in the world. These aren't the only countries who come together and make these decisions and figure things out. No, we also have another group of countries that matter, that are rising, that didn't have a voice in that club, that weren't allowed to be in that club, but have made their own club and have invited a lot of countries into joining this club, and they have voices. They're able to, I guess, speak up on the interests that are important to them. And so I think that truly is an incredible thing. I'm not sure exactly the countries that started the G7, and I'm not sure exactly the countries that started BRICS, but it just sounds like two organizations of countries, I don't know how to say it, coming together and giving these countries more influence, more weight. Let me know what you guys think about this, and I'd love to know if somebody could help me out, expand my knowledge. Let me know exactly what these countries come together are deciding. When did the G7 form? What all countries are in BRICS? I would love to know the answers to these questions if y'all want to help. That's all we have. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.